Welcome to this exciting course. In this course, you will learn how to build machine learning and NLP based mobile apps in Flutter from scratch. Now, what exactly is NLP? NLP stands for Natural Language Processing, and it is a cutting-edge machine learning technology that enables computer to understand, interpret, and even manipulate human language. On the other hand, Flutter is a versatile framework developed by Google for building beautiful, high-performance apps for mobile, desktop, and web platforms. In this course, we will bring these two powerful technologies together to create a futuristic translation application for both Android and iOS. So let me give you a quick overview of what this application can do. So the app allows users to translate between any two languages. So users can select the source and the target languages and either type or speak the text they want to translate. Hello, how are you? After that, the translation will appear in real time and users can even hear it spoken aloud.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
And if user does not know the language of a given text, they can use the language identification feature by pasting the text. So our application will automatically detect the language and perform the translation. Beyond that, user can even translate entire documents using this application. So they can either choose or capture an image of a document and our application will translate it into any desired language. So while building this application, you will gain hands-on experience with text translation, language identification, and text recognition models. And all of this will be done within Flutter applications, enabling you to create innovative and powerful mobile applications. But one important question is, who can take this course? So whether you are completely new to Flutter or an experienced Flutter developer, this course is designed for anyone eager to explore the intersection of Flutter and AI-driven technologies. The complete course is around 4 hours long and it includes all source code that we write in this course. Every section has before and after source code, so you can easily code along with me. Apart from that, you will get a certificate upon completion, which you can add to your resume. And the course comes with a 30 days money back guarantee. So if you are not satisfied, just simply ask for a refund. So by the end of this course, you will have not only a fully functional application, but also the skills and confidence to build groundbreaking Flutter applications. So what are you waiting for? Join me now and start building ML-powered mobile applications today. So what is NLP or Natural Language Processing? NLP is a field of AI that helps computer understand and work with human language. So because of NLP, we are able to talk to our devices or applications in natural ways. Like we can speak or type the text instead of using complicated commands. And it is possible because of NLP. And now let's cover some common NLP tasks. So the first and the most important one is language translation. So using NLP based language translation models, we are able to translate from one language to another. And it is being used by every translation application including Google Translate. Speech recognition is another important use case of NLP. So these models are used to convert spoken words into written text, and they are being used by our assistant applications on both Android and iOS. Like we are able to control both Siri or Google Assistant with our voice. So these applications are using speech recognition models to convert our words into text and then they are performing the action. Entity extraction is another valuable feature of NLP. So by using these models, we are able to find names, places, and other important words inside a sentence. And it is being used in chat applications to find valuable information from a text, like highlighting an address, a link, a phone number, and so on. Text classification is another exciting feature of NLP. So by using these models, we are able to sort or divide text into different categories. And this is being used by email applications to sort spam email from regular emails. Sentiment analysis is another important feature of NLP. So by using these models, we can find out if a text is positive, negative, or neutral. And this is being used by Twitter and Instagram to analyze posts to understand how people feel. Smart Reply is another important application of NLP. So by using these models, apps can suggest quick replies to messages, and it is being used in Gmail or other chatting applications. So in short words, NLP has countless real-world applications, and inside this course you will learn to use these models inside mobile to build exciting AI-powered Android and iOS applications. If you want to become a Flutter machine learning and AI expert, then subscribe to this channel and get 92% off coupons for our Flutter machine learning and AI courses. Links are given in the description. So now let's start building our first application of this course. And to do that, open your Android Studio and click on this new Flutter project button. After that, select Flutter here, then press next. And here you can type your application name, like we can name it as translator. And you can use any other name that you like. After that, you can select your project location here and make sure that Android and iOS is selected here. Then click create and our new Flutter project will be created. So now our new Flutter project is created. So let's firstly install this application inside an Android emulator, and then we are going to build the GUI for our translation application. So I will gonna open device manager, and here I will gonna launch an Android emulator. Similarly, if you are using a Mac, then you can also run this application inside an iOS emulator. And if you don't know the process, then you must follow our previous section where we have learned to set up the environment for both Windows and Mac OS. So the emulator is opened and it is ready. And here in this drop down you will be able to see its name. So select it and then click on this run main ... and our application will be installed inside this emulator. So our application is installed and you can see it running inside this emulator. So here when you will press on this plus icon, this count will gonna increase. So this is a default counter application which we get when we create a new Flutter project. But now we are going to make changes inside this application and build a very simple GUI for our translation application. So this is a simple GUI which we are going to create. So here in this top box, user can enter the text that he want to translate. After that, he can click on this translate button and we are going to display the translated text in the bottom. So this is a very basic GUI, and later we are going to convert it into a professional translation application GUI. So now let's start building the GUI, and to do that you need to scroll down inside this main ... So right now inside our application we only got a single code file, and that is present inside this lib folder, and this is our main ... So right now inside main ... we got this my homepage state class, and inside it the GUI and the code for this counter application is present. So we don't need this counter application anymore, so we can delete this method and this variable from top. After that, inside this scaffold we got the GUI related code. So in order to remove this code, what you can do is to firstly hide or remove this floating action button. So there you can see this button, so I will gonna remove it. And after that in the GUI we got this text which is this you have pushed the button this many times, and then this count. So we can also remove them. So select it till this point and remove it. And after that, if you will press Ctrl S, you can see the screen is cleared. Similarly, if you want to remove these comments, you can also do that because they are not looking good. So I will gonna remove all of these comments. And once you will do that, right click anywhere and select reformat code with dot format, and it will gonna improve the formatting of our code. So now at this point our application screen contains this scaffold which is displaying this app bar, and in this app bar we are displaying this text Flutter demo homepage. But as we are building a translator application, so we can change it. So here in this text widget we can write like translator, and after that if you will press Ctrl S, you can notice that the text here is changed. Similarly, if you want to display it in the middle, you can set center title property and set it to true. Now press Ctrl S again. And now our title is in the center. Similarly, you can pass any title that you like. And after that, we got a body section for this scaffold, and there we are going to add the GUI components. So firstly, we need such component or such view where user can enter a text. And this component in Flutter is called text field. And as we got a column widget here, so as the name suggests, this widget will gonna arrange multiple views or widgets vertically on screen. So it means that if firstly I will gonna add a text field, and then I will gonna add a button, then button will be placed below that text field because column will gonna arrange the items vertically. So here let's add a text field and then press Ctrl S. And you can see this line in the middle, and when you will click on it, you can see this view where we can enter our text. Like I can say enter my text. And you can see the text is visible here. And after this text field, we need to add a button, and that will be for performing translation. So to do that, we can add an elevated button widget, and inside it we need to pass the method which will be called when this button will be pressed. So for now we have passed an empty method here. After that, we need to display the text of button, so we are going to add a text widget, and there we can display the text like translate, and then press Ctrl S. And there you can see our button is added as well. So after adding this text field and this button, we need a third widget where we are going to display the translated text. And to do that, you are going to add a comma, and then we are going to add a text widget. So in this text widget, we are going to display the translated text. So for now, I can say translated text, and then press Ctrl S. And you can see the text is also visible here. So now after adding these three views or widgets, we need to format them a little. So firstly, you can see they are all in the middle. So if we want to position them at an equal distance, then we can set this main axis alignment property of this column. So here for now center is selected, but we are going to set it to like space evenly. And by doing that, it will gonna separate all childs at an equal distance. So there you can see that. Similarly, in this text field, we are not displaying any hint text. So it means that when this text field is empty, there is no indication to add some text here. So we are going to set the hint for this text field, and to do that, we are going to set decoration property. And here we can use input decoration class, and inside it we can set hint text. And there we can pass any text like enter your text, and then press Ctrl S. And there you can see the hint is added. And now after doing that, we have created a very simple GUI for our translation application. So here user will gonna enter the text that he want to translate, and then he will gonna click on this translate button, and we are going to translate the text and display it here in the bottom. And we are going to do that inside our next lecture. So see you in the next lecture. So after building this very simple GUI, it's time to perform translation inside our Flutter application. And to do that, you need to open your browser and type pub.dev. So press enter and this page will be opened. So this is an official package repository for Flutter and Dot applications. So it means that you will be able to find valuable Flutter packages which you can use inside your applications. And the package which we are going to use inside our application is Google ML-Kit text translation. So in order to perform translation inside our application, we are going to use the translation models of Google ML-Kit, and we are going to explore them inside this course. So to do that, on this site you can search for Google ML-Kit translator. So press enter and you will see this first result, Google ML-Kit translation, and when you will click on it, its home page will be opened, and there you can read it is a plugin to use Google ML-Kit on-device translations to dynamically translate text between more than 50 languages. And if you want to look at the detail of this feature, you can right click on this link and open it inside a new tab, and it will gonna open this page for Google ML-Kit. So here you can read with Google ML-Kit on-device translation, you can dynamically translate between more than 50 languages. And then if you will scroll down, you will find some key features or key capabilities. So the first one is the number of languages it supports. So by using it, we can translate between more than 50 languages. And you can look at the name of those languages by clicking on this link. So here on this page, you can see the name and the code for each language. And by using this library, we can translate between any of these languages. After that, the second feature is proven translation models. So it means that their models are quite accurate because these are the same models used by Google for translation. And then the third one is dynamic model management. So by using this library, we can download the model for the language for which we want to perform translation. So let's say we want to translate between English and Spanish. So for that purpose, we need to download the model for English and Spanish only. So by doing that, we need very limited storage, and then the model management is also quite easy because you can easily download the model which you need, and you can also delete it using this library. And then the fourth one is run on the device. So as mentioned, this is used to perform on-device translation. So it means that the translation will be performed in the user device. So internet connection is not needed, so that's why translations are performed quickly, and they don't require you to send user data to a remote server. So it also got one more advantage, and that is security. So as we are not sending some data to the server, so we don't need to worry about the security of that data. So these are some features provided by this library, and now it's time to use it inside our Flutter application. And to do that, you need to go to the installing section and copy this dependency. After that, open our application, and here in the side pane, open this pubspec.yml file. So this is the file where we can add the libraries which we want to use. So in this dependencies section, simply paste the line and then click on this pubget so that the library will be downloaded and added inside our project. And to see it, you can go to the messages section and then you can expand it. And there you can see the message that this library is added successfully. So now after adding the library, it's time to use it. And to do that, you can go to the readme section, and there you will find the instructions to use this library. So when you will scroll down, you will find this requirement section. So here we got some requirements for iOS and also for Android to use this library. So firstly, let's look at the instructions for Android. So for Android, our minimum SDK version should be 21, and our target and compile SDK versions should be 33 and 34. And you can check them by opening our application, and there you can expand this Android section. So inside this Android section, the native code for Android is present. And here when you will expand this app folder, you will find this build.gradle file. and inside it, when you will scroll down, you will find this compile SDK and also this target and min SDK. So if you are going to run this application inside the simulator and you will see some error, then you need to manually set it to like 21. And then you need to set target SDK to 33, so you can make the change here. So I will gonna change it. And then you need to set the compile SDK to 34. And after that, when you will try to run it in Android, it will not gonna show any error. So these are the instructions for Android. And now let's look at the instructions for iOS. Hello guys, Hamza here. I just want to let you know that this video is just the first part of my complete Flutter and NLP course. The complete course is around 5 hours long, and inside it you will learn to build a feature-rich translation application which can translate entire documents, text and also voices. The course includes complete source code of the application which we are going to build. Every section has before and after source code, so you can easily code along with me. Apart from that, you will get a certificate upon completion which you can add to your resume. And the course comes with a 30 days money back guarantee. So if you are not satisfied, just simply ask for a refund. So if you are interested, I will put a link down below, and we are offering a discount to first 300 students. And now let's continue to the next lecture. So after looking at the setup for both Android and iOS, it's time to use this library. And to do that, you can scroll down and you will find this own device translation section. So here you can see in how to use this library, we need to create an object of type own device translator. And inside it, we need to pass the source language and the target language. So if we want to build a translator which translates text from English to Spanish, then our source language will be English and our target language will be Spanish. So let's do that. So inside our application, we need to go to our main dot, and here we need to firstly declare this own device translator object. And to do that, above our build method, we are going to declare this own device translator, and we can name it like own device translator. And after that, we are going to initialize it. And to do that, we are going to add a method called init state. So when you will type ini, you will see this option for init state. So press enter and it will be added. So this is the first method which will be executed when our application is opened or launched. And inside it, we can try to initialize this own device translator. And to do that, you can write this own device translator. And then we need to call its constructor, and inside it we need to specify source and target language. So for now we are going to perform the translation from English to Spanish, but it's entirely up to you. So you can also build like English to French or any other translator. But for now, just to be on the same page, you can use English and Spanish here. So to specify the language, we need to use this translate language. And then we are going to select English here, and after that we are going to specify the target language to Spanish, so translate language dot Spanish. And after that, add a semicolon, and that's it. So now we are declaring this translator above, and we are initializing it inside this init state. But here we need to include a late keyword, and this is because we are specifying that we are going to initialize it later. So at the time of declaration, we are not initializing it, but we are initializing it inside this init state. And now after declaring and initializing this translator, we want to use it to perform translation. But before that, we need to make sure one thing, and that is the model for both English and Spanish is downloaded in the user device. Otherwise we will get an error when we will try to perform translation. So in order to check that whether the model for English and Spanish is downloaded, we can use a model manager. So on the documentation page, you will find this own device translator model manager. So you can simply copy this line, and then put it below this on device translator. And now we can use this model manager to check that whether the model for English and Spanish is downloaded or not. And we are going to do that inside a method called isModelDownloaded. So let's create this method. And then inside this method we are going to use this model manager, and we can call its isModelDownloaded method, and inside it we need to specify the language for which we want to check that whether its model is downloaded or not. And we are going to firstly check for English, so we are going to use this translate language dot English. And then we need to add this BCP code. So this is a code using which this method will gonna check that the model for English is downloaded or not. And this method will gonna return the result in the form of bool. So here we can create a bool variable and we can name it like is source downloaded. And then we can assign the result, and there we also need to add an await keyword because this method will gonna take some time to check that. So that's why we are waiting until it will gonna return the result. And when we use this await keyword, we need to make this method async. So now when this method will be executed, inside it we are checking that if the English model is downloaded or not. So if the model is downloaded, then it will be true, otherwise it will be false. Similarly, we also need to do the same for our target language, so we can copy this line and paste it here, and then we can change it to like target. And here we need to specify Spanish because Spanish is our target language. And now after getting the values for both of these variables, we can add a condition that if both source and target models are downloaded, only then we are going to perform translation. So here if this is source downloaded is true, and also this is target downloaded is true, so only in that case user can perform translation. Otherwise we can display a toast or some message to user that the language model is not downloaded. But now if both models are downloaded, then we are going to set a variable to true, and that variable will be is translator ready. So we can simply set it to true, and then we can also declare it above because we did not declare this variable. So below this model manager we can create a bool variable and we can name it is translator ready, and by default it will be false. So we are going to set this variable to true only when the models are downloaded, and then we are going to call this method here. So above our translator we can call this is model downloaded. And that's it. So now when our application will be opened, firstly this method will be called, and inside it we are going to check that if the models are downloaded, then this variable will be true, otherwise it will be false. But what if the models are not downloaded? So in that case we need to download the models, and to do that we can write the code in this else block. So here we can check that if this is source downloaded is false, so it means that the English model is not downloaded. So in that case we are going to download that model, and to do that we are going to use our model manager. So model manager dot download model, and here we need to specify the language code, and we are going to do that using this translate language dot English .bcp code. So now when this method will be executed, it will gonna start downloading the model for English, and when the execution of this method will be completed or the model will be downloaded, we will get a boolean value which will gonna indicate that the model is downloaded or not, and we can assign that value to our is source downloaded. And here we need to add an await keyword. So here we are trying to download the source model, and if it is downloaded successfully, then this is source downloaded will be set to true. Similarly, we need to download our target model, so we can simply copy this code and paste it below, and here we can change it to like is target downloaded, and here we are again going to change it, and then we need to change this English to Spanish. And that's it. So now after trying to download both source and target model, we can set the value for this is translator ready to true. But we are going to set that only if this condition is true. So we can simply copy this if condition, and after this if we can simply paste it. So now after trying to download these models, if they are downloaded successfully, this variable will set to be true. And if there is any error while downloading the model, then this variable will still be false. So we are not going to use this translator in that case. So now when our application will be opened and this method will be called, inside it we are going to check that if both models are downloaded or not. So if both are downloaded, then this variable will be true. Otherwise we are going to download the model which is not available. And once it is downloaded, then again we are going to set this variable to true. And now after making sure that the models are downloaded, it's time to perform translations. And to do that, we need to get the text which user entered here in this text field and pass it to our own device translator. And for that purpose, we can create a method above this build method, and we can name it like perform translation. And inside this method, we are going to use our own device translator, and we are going to call its translate text method. And here we need to pass the text which user entered here in this text field. But firstly, we need to get the text which user entered here. And to do that, we need to create a controller for this text field. So above our init state, we can create a text editing controller, and we can name it like input con. And then we can initialize it by calling its constructor. And after that we are going to set this controller inside our text field. So here we can set a controller property, and then we can pass our input con. And now we can use this input con inside this translate text. So input con dot text will gonna return the text we user entered inside this text field. And once this method will be called, this text will be passed to our models, and it will gonna convert it into Spanish language. And we can get the result in the form of string here. So to store those results, we can create a string variable above. So here we can create a variable and we can name it result text. And by default it will gonna contain the text like translated text. And after that we are going to change the value of this result text based upon the translation. So here we can set the result to this result text, and then we need to add an await keyword because it will gonna take some time, and then make this method asynchronous. So now when this method will be called, we are going to pass the text to our translation model, and the translation will be stored inside this result text. And then we need to display that result text inside our text field. So here we can simply remove this fixed text, and we can display the value of our result text here. And then we need to add a set state block after this result text, and then pass this result text inside it. And by doing that, we are making sure that wherever inside our GUI we are using this result text, the changes will apply. So in our case we are displaying it here. And now we need to finally call this translate or perform translation method when the button is pressed. So simply call this perform translation, and that's it. And here one final thing is to use this is translator ready variable. So this variable will be true if both source and target models are downloaded. So only in that case we are going to call this translate text. So what you can do is to add an if condition here, and here we can check that if this is translator ready is true, only in that case we are going to perform translations. Otherwise we are not going to do anything for now. And now after doing that, let's simply run our application and test it. So simply click on this stop main ... and then click on this run button so that our application will be installed and we can use it. So now our application is installed, and in your case, if the Spanish or English model is already not downloaded, then you will be able to see a download notification in the top bar, and it will gonna show you that the model is being downloaded. So in my case, the model was already downloaded, so we are not able to see that. But now let's test our application. So here we can enter a text like I can enter hello. and click on this translate button, and there you can see we got this translated text here. Similarly, let's type how are you doing and then click translate. There you can see we again got the translation. So it means that our application is working correctly. Similarly, if we are going to change or create a translator from English to French, then I can change the translate language to like French here. And then I need to make the change here as well. And also here. And now if I will gonna click on this run main dot, you might be able to see that the language model is being downloaded. And there you can see this English to French.zip is being downloaded. So that's how the model will be downloaded in the background, and once it will be downloaded, then you can use it inside our application. And there you can see the download is just completed. So here if I will gonna type the text like hello again, and then click translate. And there you can see we got the translation here. So we are able to perform translation inside our Flutter application. So now let's make an exciting change inside our application, and that is we are going to remove this translate button. So it means that we want that when user will gonna enter the text, so as he is entering the text, during that process we are able to see the translated text here. So we can easily do that because we are using on device translation, and by doing that our models are present in the user device, so we can use them for very fast translations. And to do it here, what you can do is to simply comment this elevated button and then press Ctrl S. And now you will gonna notice that the button is gone. After that you can simply format our code, and then we need to actually call this perform translation as soon as user is entering the text here. And to do that we can add a method inside this text field, and that is onChanged. So this method will be called whenever user will gonna change some value inside this text field. So we can create a method here, and this method will gonna contain the current text of our text field. And here we can call this perform translation method, and that's it. So now after doing that, if I will simply going to click on this run main dot, and then you can simply write the word like I will gonna type hello. And there you can see during the typing we got the translation here. Similarly, when I will type like how are, and there you can see the translation is changing. So now we are able to perform the translation very quickly based upon the text which user have entered here. Hello guys, Hamza here. I just want to let you know that this video is just the first part of my complete Flutter and NLP course. The complete course is around 5 hours long, and inside it you will learn to build a feature-rich translation application which can translate entire documents, text and also voices. The course includes complete source code of the application which we are going to build. Every section has before and after source code, so you can easily code along with me. Apart from that, you will get a certificate upon completion which you can add to your resume. And the course comes with a 30 days money back guarantee. So if you are not satisfied, just simply ask for a refund. So if you are interested, I will put a link down below, and we are offering a discount to first 300 students. And now let's continue to the next lecture. So now after building a very simple translation application, we need to work on the GUI of this application. But we are going to do that inside our next lecture. But for now, we are going to make a small improvement inside our code. And that is, we are going to specify the source and target languages above. So right now we have specified them directly inside this on device translator and also while downloading them. So if we want to create a different translator, then we need to make changes everywhere. But instead of that, we can declare these languages above, and then we only need to change our source and target language above. So let's simply do that. So here we are going to create a translate language object, and we can name it like source lang, and it will be English. So translate language dot English. After that, we are going to do the same for our target language. So translate language, and we can name it target lang. And here we can specify French for now. And now after doing that, instead of passing this English here, we can pass source lang and then pass target lang here. Similarly, we are going to make the change here. So here we are going to remove and add source lang, and then we are going to specify its code. And here target lang. And finally do it here. And that's it. So now after doing that, if you want to create a Russian to French translator, then you only need to specify Russian here. And then you need to specify French here, and then you can simply run the application, and this will gonna work as a Russian to French translator. So that's why we have made this change. So let's change back to English, and that's it. And now inside our next lecture, we are going to improve the GUI of this application, and then later we are going to add other exciting features inside this application. So now let's start working on the GUI of our translation application. So we will start with the app bar. So right now you can see in the app bar we got this background color. So let's use black color for now, and to do that we are going to change this background color property. And here using this colors class we are going to select black color. Now press Ctrl S. And you can see the app bar turned black and it is looking much better, but the text here is not properly visible. So here we can set the text color to white, and to do that in this text widget we are going to set a style property, and inside it we can use this text style class, and inside it we got this color property. So there choose the color to white and then press Ctrl S. And there you can see now the app bar is looking much better. After that, let's work on this text field where user can enter the text. So you can see we got this text field here. So the first thing is we are going to add some shadow or rounded edges to this text field. And to do that you can simply click on it and then press Alt plus Enter. And here select Wrap with Widget, and the widget which we are going to use is Card Widget. So Card Widget is an amazing widget in Flutter which adds a shadow and corners to its children's. So here if I will press Ctrl S, so there you can see a shadow and rounded corner is added. So if I will zoom in a little, then you will be able to see it clearly. So there you can see these rounded corners, and below that we got some shadow. And now after doing that we need to remove this line which is there by default for this text field. So to remove this line inside this input decoration you can set a border property, and here we are going to select input border dot none. So it means that we want to hide the border. So press Ctrl S. And now you can see the line is gone. And now after doing that we need to increase the size of this card widget or this whole box. And to do that you can simply wrap this card widget inside an expanded widget. So select Wrap with Widget and then add Expanded. And now if you will press Ctrl S, you can notice that the box is expanded to its full height. And the reason is expanded widget is used to expand available or children widget to all available space. And you can notice that our text widget is pushed to the bottom. And now after doing that, let's also work on this text widget which is displaying our translated text. And what we are going to do is to enclose it inside a card widget just like text field. And now press Ctrl S. And there you can see a shadow and rounded corner is added here. After that we are also going to enclose it inside an expanded widget. So add Expanded and press Ctrl S. And now you can see it is taking half of available device height, but there you can notice that the width of this text widget is not increased. And to increase it, what we can do is to enclose this text widget inside a container, and there we can manually set the width. So here set the width property of this container, and we are going to set it to the width of user device. So here using media query dot of context dot size will gonna return the size of user device, and then we can access the width using this width property. After that add a comma and then press Ctrl S. And there you can see now this box is also taking all available width. And now after doing that, simply format our code, and then we are going to change the color of these card widgets. So right now they are not completely white. So to set the color you can use color property and then select the color to white. After that press Ctrl S, and you can notice that now this card widget turned white. Similarly we are going to do the same for the second card widget. So colors dot white, and then press Ctrl S, and there you can see it is also white. And here you can notice that these card widgets are actually too attached with the border of user device. So now we are going to add some spacing between these card boxes or card widgets and the border of device. And to do that we can simply enclose this column widget which is containing both of these boxes inside a padding widget. So here select it and then press Alt plus Enter, and then select wrap with padding. And now you can notice that a padding of 8 is added on all sides. So press Ctrl S, and there you can see the padding is added and it is separated from the border a little. And here if you will zoom in, you can notice that the text inside this box is too attached with the border of this card widget. So here again we need to add some padding, and to do that we can enclose this text widget inside a padding widget. So click on this text field and press Alt plus Enter, and then select wrap with padding. Now press Ctrl S. And there you can see the padding is added and it is looking much better. Similarly we also need to add this padding for this text widget as well. So here what you can do is to wrap this container inside a padding widget, or you can set a padding property inside this container. And here again we are going to add a padding on all sides. So select edge insets dot all and add a padding of 8. Now press Ctrl S. And there you can see the padding is added and it is looking collectively better. And now after doing that we can increase the size of this hint and the text which user entered here, and also the size of translated text. And to do that, inside this text widget we can set a style property. Then select text style class, and then inside it you can select this font size property. And we are going to choose a size like 25, so press Ctrl S. And there you can see the size is increased and it is looking much better. Similarly, we are going to do the same here for our text field. So firstly, we are going to set the style for our hint text. So here use hint style, and then this text style class. And inside it use this font size and set it to 25, so press Ctrl S. And now you can see the hint size is increased. But here if I will gonna enter some text like hello, you can notice that the size of this text is still small. And to set the size of the text we need to set a style property inside this text field. So outside of this input decoration we are going to set a style property, and then we are going to specify a font size of 25. So inside text style font size 25, so press Ctrl S. And now you can see the size of text is increased. And now after doing that, our application is collectively looking much better. But here we can do one more thing, and that is we can change the background color which is being displayed outside of these card widgets. And to do that, inside our scaffold we can set a background color property. So here above our app bar choose background color, and then we are going to add a gray color. And we are going to use its very light shade, so you can select shade 100 and press Ctrl S. And there you can see the background color is changed and it is looking much better. So now we have worked on the GUI of our translator application a little. And if you will test the application, like I am going to type some text. There you can notice that the translation is still there, so it means that our application is still functioning and it is working as a translator between English to French. Similarly, you can use any language here that you like. And now after working on the GUI of this application, the next thing is adding a feature that user will be able to speak the text instead of typing it here. So it means that user will gonna speak the text and he will be able to see the translation here without typing any text, and we are going to do that inside our next lecture. So see you in the next lecture. So now let's work on our speak to text feature, and for that purpose we are going to add a mic icon in the bottom of our application screen, and when user will gonna click on it, he can speak the text and the text will be visible here. Apart from that, he will be able to see the translation here in real time. So to do that, inside our GUI, scroll down and go to the bottom of this expanded widget or the end of our column widget, and there we are going to add an icon widget. So add icon, and we are going to add a mic icon. So type icons.mic and then press Ctrl S. And there you can see a mic icon is added. And after adding the icon, let's set its size. So we are going to select like 40 and press Ctrl S. And now you can see its size is increased. After that, we want to add a rounded circle around this mic, and to do that we can simply enclose it inside a card widget. So add card and press Ctrl S. And now you can see some border or rounded rectangle is added here. After that, if we want to increase the size of this card widget, we can simply enclose this icon widget inside a container, and there we can set the width. So let's choose a width of like 80, and then we are going to select a height and choose 80 as well. After that, press Ctrl S. And there you can see the size of card widget is increased. And now we want to increase or make it completely rounded or circular, and to do that, in this card widget we can set a shape property, and here we are going to use a rounded rectangle border, and inside it we are going to set a border radius, and to set it we are going to use this border radius class, and then select this circular because we want to add a circular border, and then we can specify a radius of like 50 and press Ctrl S. And now you can notice that the card widget is completely circular. After that, let's change the background color of this card. So select the color property, and we are going to set a blue color here, and we are going to set a very dark shade. So select shade 900, which is the max blue color shade, and then press Ctrl S. And there you can see the color turned black, but here we need to make our icon white so that it will gonna look good. So in the icon widget we can set a color property, and then we can select the white color. Now press Ctrl S. And there you can see now collectively this whole circle and this icon is looking much better. And after adding it, simply format our code so that we can see it clearly. So here we have added an icon widget and then wrapped it inside a card widget and made that card completely rounded. And after that, we need to make this card widget clickable so that whenever user will gonna click on it, we can recognize or convert his voice into text. And to do that, we can enclose this container inside an inkwell widget. So select wrap with widget and choose this inkwell. So inkwell widget is such widget in Flutter. Using it we can make any widget clickable. Like here we have wrapped our container inside this widget. So now we can detect that when user is clicking on this container. And to do that we can see this on tab, on double tap and other such methods. So select this on tap and add this empty method here. So now each time when user will gonna click on this card widget or container widget, this on tab will be executed. So if you will press Ctrl S and then you will gonna click on this mic icon, You can notice this small transition or animation that it is being pressed, and it is because of this inkwell widget. So now after adding the GUI for this feature, it's time to add this feature inside our application. Hello guys, Hamza here. I just want to let you know that this video is just the first part of my complete Flutter and NLP course. The complete course is around 5 hours long, and inside it you will learn to build a feature-rich translation application which can translate entire documents, text and also voices. The course includes complete source code of the application which we are going to build. Every section has before and after source code, so you can easily code along with me. Apart from that, you will get a certificate upon completion which you can add to your resume. And the course comes with a 30 days money back guarantee. So if you are not satisfied, just simply ask for a refund. So if you are interested, I will put a link down below, and we are offering a discount to first 300 students. And now let's continue to the next lecture.